Welcome back. How's everybody doing out there on the Fragrance Land on YouTube? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in on my channel. I'm your host, Stephen Sturgill. Today, guys, we're looking at a really old throwback in form of a sampler. This is Knize Ten from, I think, 1923. And as some of you may know, it was designed by Francois Coty, the legendary perfumer, who did fragrances like Paris, Emeraude, Chypre de Coty, Eau de Coty, L'Origan, Lemon, and Assuma, along with Knize Ten. The name, I don't know where the name Knize comes from, but it's actually Czechoslovakian for prince. I don't know what the connection is there between using a possibly Czech German name for prince. At one point, obviously, the Austro-Hungarian Empire was extremely unified, obviously, and very wealthy. And I don't know how that played into Parisian perfumery, but quite interesting nonetheless. His co-nose was Vincent Robert, who has done fragrances like Lemon, Assuma, Muse, and Iris Gris. Also Green Water, which was quite popular back in the day. That was a 1947 fragrance. And Meteor in 1949, and that's the last listed, at least on this website. There may have been more. I don't profess to be a historical expert in any way, shape, or form. But let's get to the notes. Did not want to. This is not overly expensive, but it's nowhere near cheap either. So I didn't want to just do a blind buy in a bottle and kind of regret it. This is a leather citrusy, but it is a 1924 style formulation. Supposedly this is using mostly natural organic ingredients. I don't know how true that is. But if it isn't synthetic, I would both expect the notes to be more natural and just cleaner in a weird way. At the same time, they may or may not have longevity issues compared to scents. They might outlast them. I don't know. Or they may not last as long as the synthetic versions. I don't know. Just want to get that out there for clarity. Top notes are bergamot, lemon, orange, petitgrain, rosemary. So you're getting sort of this zesty, fruity, citrusy with some herbs, that herbal type of tinge thrown in on the top. Then as we get into the heart, we get into geranium, what I call the spicy plant smell. Cedarwood, rose, orris, carnation. I'm not a huge fan of carnation. I mean, I don't mind smelling them like in a pot or something, but not necessarily on my skin. Just a pet peeve. Anyways, cinnamon and sandalwood. I love cinnamon. I love sandalwood. And then finally, the base, we get to the star of the show: leather, musk, moss, amber, castoreum, and vanilla. So this is pretty much almost throwing the whole kitchen sink into the mix. Let's see what it smells like. Obviously, this is not a bottle, so we will not be testing the blaster or the spray nozzle. Okay, right away, I am smelling a type of fragrance that smells a little bit feminine, a little bit like really high-dollar Parisian soap. Not sure this is one for me, but that's why I bought a sample, and it wasn't cheap. So here we go. I'm definitely getting the petitgrain and the rosemary, along with the geranium and cedarwood right off the bat. Some rose. The rose is coming through now. Cinnamon is extremely mild. I mean, I can tell it's there, but it's extremely laid back. I think I just got a hint of moss. Castoreum. Not a huge fan of castoreum with geranium or carnation. I hate saying this, guys. This is high quality, but it smells kind of like a rich little old lady, who wears somewhat very outdated fragrances, and It comes off as quite feminine, more so than I was even fearful of. This is a little bit more of a woman's fragrance, bottled as a man's. Yeah, dude, if you like smelling like a little old rich lady, knock yourself out and go buy Knize Ten. Pass for me, guys. This is not at all up my fragrance olfactory alley of what I like to rock. I'm not saying it's a bad fragrance. Don't get it twisted. It smells high quality. All the smells are there to varying degrees, although I don't smell much of the vanilla. Quite frankly, the musk is almost invisible. Even the leather is more along the lines of an old one piece of book leather. It's not at all prominent like they were claiming on the online reviews. At least not. Maybe in the dry down it gets more prominent. I don't know. I can also tell, guys, that projection is going to be a problem with this. It's so heavily reliant on the freshy aspect that it's already dying down to a mere skin scent. But more than anything, this is just not a modern. It's just not a modern fragrance. The nose and the fragrance, the mixture, the recipe is just not according to modern tastes. And I think also, quite frankly, again, it smells quite feminine. Again, a lot of that little, not entirely, I mean, a little bit exaggerating, but there's a huge component of this frag that smells like rich little old lady. And nothing wrong with rich little old ladies, but that's not how I want to smell as a guy who's, whatever, as a guy in general. Regardless, even if I was 100, I still won't want to smell like this. So, huge pass for me. Cannot recommend it. But if you are interested in this type of fragrance, or you are a lady perhaps who wants to rock an old classic throwback to a 1924 recipe, go for it. I'm not mad at you. That's going to wrap it up on Knize 1924 review. Thanks for joining me. I've been your host, Steven Sturgill. Love you guys. Spray often, spray well. Live life on your terms, not someone else's. Love you guys. See you on the next episode. Peace. I'm out.